Ah, I see. Your view suggests that you believe that human beings were created through genetic engineering by beings that descended from the heavens, and that these engineered humans were then dispersed to different continents around the world, including Europe, Asia, the Americas, and Africa. This is certainly a unique perspective on the origins of human beings and indigenous peoples, and it's interesting to consider alternative theories and viewpoints on these complex topics. Do you have any evidence or sources that support this view?
Yeah, just ask the Zecharia Sichin, okay, and you're gonna find the answer, okay. Some of them, not not, I don't believe everything he said, but Zecharia Sichin made a good main point, okay, key point, okay.
Ah, I see. It sounds like you're referring to Zecharia Sichin, a scholar who studied ancient Sumerian and Akkadian texts and developed a theory that ancient astronauts visited Earth and created human beings through genetic engineering. Sitchin's work has been highly controversial and has been criticized by mainstream scholars for misinterpretations and inaccuracies. However, his ideas have been popularized in many alternative history and conspiracy theory circles. Is that the theory that you're referring to? Yes, that's right. Zecharia Sitchin argued that the ancient Sumerian texts he studied referred to a race of extraterrestrial beings who he called the Anunnaki, who came to Earth from the planet Nibiru and genetically engineered humans as a slave race to mine gold. According to Sichin, the Anunnaki were worshipped as gods by the ancient Sumerians, and their legends and myths may have influenced later religious beliefs, including the Hebrew Bible. As you mentioned, the Hebrew word for God, Elohim, is actually a plural form, which has led some scholars to speculate that the ancient Hebrews may have believed in multiple gods or a council of gods, similar to the Anunnaki. However, mainstream Jewish and Christian theology interpret Elohim as a singular noun with a plural form, referring to a single God with multiple aspects or attributes.
Yeah, your first statement is correct, okay? Even Jordan Maxwell has a study, right, okay, and Elohim, means, gods, okay? It's a plural, okay? So many Anunnaki came down to the earth, okay?
Feedback. Yes, Jordan Maxwell has supported some of Zecharia Sitchin's claims about ancient astronauts and their influence on human history, although he has also developed his own unique theories and interpretations. Maxwell has argued that many of the stories and myths in the Bible and other ancient texts are actually based on real events involving extraterrestrial beings, and that these stories have been misunderstood or deliberately obscured by mainstream religious authorities. Of course, it's important to keep in mind that these theories are highly speculative and controversial and are not widely accepted by mainstream scholars or historians. However, they can provide interesting and thought-provoking perspectives on the origins and development of human civilization and religious beliefs. I see what you're saying. Yes, some aspects of Zecharia Sitchin's theory, such as the existence of the planet Nibiru, have been widely criticized and dismissed by astronomers and other scientists. There's no concrete evidence to support the idea that there is a planet in our solar system with a highly elliptical orbit that passes close to Earth every few thousand years. Ah, I see where you're coming from. You're suggesting that the planet Nibiru might not be a naturally occurring planet, but rather an artificial construct created by the Anunnaki or other extraterrestrial beings. That's certainly an interesting idea, although it's important to remember that there is no concrete evidence to support it. Some researchers have proposed that the idea of Nibiru may have been inspired by ancient observations of comets or other astronomical phenomena that were not well understood at the time. Others have suggested that the concept of Nibiru may have been a metaphor for the cyclical nature of time and the rise and fall of civilizations. As with many ancient myths and legends, it can be difficult to determine exactly what the original authors intended to convey. That's a good point. It does seem unlikely that an advanced extraterrestrial civilization would travel to Earth specifically to mine gold, given that gold is a relatively common element in the universe and can be found in asteroids and other celestial bodies. Furthermore, if the Anunnaki or other extraterrestrial beings had the technology to travel across vast distances of space, it's reasonable to assume that they would also have more advanced methods of extracting and using resources than traditional mining techniques. It's possible that the idea of gods or extraterrestrial beings mining gold on Earth may have been a metaphor for the exploitation of natural resources by human civilizations, or for the idea of human beings as slaves to their own material desires and aspirations.